I want the 3 big boys to go get their shoes on and the 3 little ones to go to the potty. Go.
Try to get me up fast.
So we went from 3 kids to 8 kids, which requires a lot more organization and making sure that you know where everybody is at every minute, especially because we had little children that we brought into the family. Okay, we're missing Aaron and Jenny.
We went from 8 years of just being Ray and I, and being able to kind of get up and go and do whatever we wanted, or spend an entire weekend watching television or eating out wherever we wanted, and then then we decided we were going to adopt and add kids, and it changes your life completely.
The main reason we started to adopt is we were looking just to add to our family. We knew that we had a lot of love to give, and we knew that there were children that did not have homes, and so we were making sure that any child that that wanted a home could have one. Come on, Kaylis, we're going to share a ball with you. Who punted it the farthest? I think it's one. Grab a ball, grab a ball.
At first we said, we just can't. There's just no way that we could have 8 kids. Shortly after, decided we would go ahead and do it. So, and that was a big leap of faith for us.
Punt! Whoa! Go get one, Kiana. Go get one.
It's fun. You always have somebody to play with.
Climb in your seat, buddy.
You want to be able to have enough one-on-one time, right? So it was important for us that when we added additional children, that we were still going to be able to give our kids the attention, the one-on-one attention that they deserve. Things that we share that are just fun as a family, and we've bonded really well over the last year.
This one's kind of plain to see compared to some of the other ones out there.
Vandalism via spray paint, and a lot of it gang-related.
You got Bloods, Crips, People Nation. You've got Norteños, Sureños. There are some Latin Kings.
Franklin County Sheriff Sergeant Charlie Brown specializes in decoding graffiti.
The Sureños, who represent with a 1-3, tag right over top of them. And then you look over here towards the end, there's a pitchfork that's pointing down. So that's another key indicator when they have something crossed out or that it's upside down, it's a sign of disrespect.
Brown says numbers and colors represent a gang's affiliation, mark territory, or show disrespect to a rival gang.
Some of them will also advertise drugs, issue challenges to other gangs, and possibly, death threats.
Brown says there's no such thing as harmless tagging.
Because they got the CK or Crip Killer up there.
This colorful bubble art, while criminal, is most likely work done by someone without gang ties. And there are instances like here when the paint is intended to honor a fallen member. We know by the blue 6-point star, the Crips are nearby. But mostly, Sergeant Brown spends his time deciphering the layers of Roman numerals, crowns, and stars left behind as calling cards.
And originally it was done in blue, which the Sureños were tagging that, and then the Norteños came in and tagged over them, and then the Bloods turned around and tagged over them. So everybody's trying to establish their territory.
And on the street, everybody wants the last word.
This could actually ultimately get somebody killed on our streets because of how disrespectful it is.
Bloods and Crips will tag businesses and residential areas like this all over town. Local law enforcement says the best way to get rid of it is obviously to cover it up, because the taggers want their information out, and if you take that away, you might be able to keep them away.
But as long as there's an open concrete canvas, it seems gangs will continue the dangerous game of outdrawing their enemies.
So they put it right over top to let the Bloods know this isn't your territory, this is ours. Eventually it's going to get to the point where crossing out is not going to be enough, and then it's going to resort to violence.
In Columbus, Jeff Hogan with this Crime Tracker 10 alert.
My name is Susan Bradford Punta, and I am the Artistic Director of the Chosan West African Dance Institute.
Come on, now.
We came together to present and preserve traditional West African dance. A lot of the dances, as I said before, has a meaning such as transition, birth of babies, marriage, death, harvest, plentiful harvest, and day-long celebrations that incorporate not only just their daily lifestyle, but their spiritual sense also.
Sharon, you gotta move up, baby. You gotta hold that spot.
There's an old proverb that says, if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going. And art gives that direction. There's a language that happens between the dancer and the drummer, and as that language begins to build, there's a communication between the dancer and drummer that's unspoken, understood, and so you can sort of improv and play off of one another. It's a universal language. It crosses all gender, all race, all sex, all age groups, and I think music does that. So it speaks to our inner being and allows us to tap into be able to express ourselves outwardly in a positive social setting without any judgment or without any certain boundaries. We can be free.
The Griggs Reservoir Damkeeper's House, 1923. The same house nearly 90 years later.
This is one of those situations where you would like to get the walls to talk.
Frank DiMatteo boasts that the house was built in 1816 by the Richards family on land deeded by President John Adams. It was one of the first houses in Perry Township. After Griggs Dam was built in 1908, they needed a place for the dam keeper or dam tender to live. The Richards place was perfect. Over the years, it became an eyesore and was destined to be demolished.
Yeah, you don't want to get rid of this type of history. The setting is great. It's in a park. You couldn't ask for any better of a location.
The city agreed, and in 2003, I took you inside the then 187-year-old house just before restoration work was to begin.
There's a lot of work to do in here, Tom.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The city had just approved money to stabilize it, and work was expected to start immediately. But nothing happened for 3 more years as it continued to deteriorate. These photos show what it looked like in 2006, covered in graffiti, a home for vandals. The roof caved in, but it was solid.
Structure is a solid stone building. Walls on it are about a foot thick.
And DiMatteo's company won the $200,000 job to begin stabilizing it.
We did this job in about 90 days, and we did it under budget.
The city proudly announced restoration was completed, then promptly put a fence around it, then spent $8,000 on this study to determine what to do with it. They could turn it into a restaurant or an event center, a boathouse or office space. That was 2007, and the ideas seem to be frozen in time, while time continues to weather away at this unique piece of Columbus history. The home's roof collapsed again, the victim of last summer's severe windstorm.
Disappointment. You don't want to see things like this happen.
So what is the city's ultimate plan for the dam tender's house?
It's a house, and it's a difficult facility to find a public use for.
The director of Columbus Recreation and Parks says there are no immediate plans to spend taxpayer money to restore the building other than stabilize the broken roof.
So the city basically spent $200,000 to clean it up and fix it up and then mothball it for the past 6 years. Is that basically what's happened?
I think as a historic structure, the city felt it had merit to try to preserve the facility.
We showed McKnight our 2003 story. The tender and his family lived here, reminding him of what appeared to be the building's promising future and asking what the future holds all these years later.
It's an interesting structure. It's got a lot of history to it, and because of that history is why we're taking our time to do this. It's not that we're neglecting it. But we need to, and I just can't say it anymore, is that we need to see what that best use is, and we really haven't found that today.
In the meantime, the house remains empty and fenced off, as it has for the past 6 years. The Richards family is long gone. Their family plot just across Riverside Drive from the home they built. They probably had no idea that 196 years later, their homestead would be part of a beautiful park overlooking Griggs Reservoir, and still standing. For now, Frank DiMatteo can only wait and watch and wonder whether the Richards Dam Tenders home's best days are over or yet to come.